So good morning and welcome to today's webinar where we're going to be looking at Meta Business Suite and how do we make the most of that in our business. Just click on. So a little bit of housekeeping before we get started today. Today's webinar is being recorded and it will be available on the Business Station YouTube channel, so you can go and have a look at it on there. Today's webinar will run for an hour, so it's 9 a.m. We'll finish just before 10 a.m. As it's a webinar, you can ask questions, and the only way that you can do that is to pop them in the chat. So there's a webinar chat. You're welcome to pop your questions in there. There is also a Q&A section where you can pop some questions in there. So please feel free to do that as we're going. I do like to make these webinars kind of very much tutorial based. So I'll be walking through Meta Business Suite so you can see how it works and get an understanding of what that looks like for you. All right. So I've got a few of you here today, actually. All right, so if you haven't met me before, hi, I am Sarah. I am the owner and founder of Online Social Butterfly, and I've been a specialist trainer and advisor with Business Station for 4 years now on the ASBAS program. And that program is why this webinar is free of charge to you today, because it is subsidised by the federal government. And at the end of today's webinar, I'll tell you a little bit more about that program and how you can work with myself and the team of expert advisors that we have at Business Station. My background is that I have always worked in marketing. I worked in corporate marketing and communications for 15 years, and I've then spent the last dozen or so working in digital marketing. In 13 years, I will have, in March, I'll have been in business for 13 years. I do have lots of qualifications as well. If you want to connect with me personally, you're most welcome to do so. I am Online Social Butterfly on Facebook and Instagram, so feel free to come and drop by and say hello. Right, we're going to start now, and we're going to be talking a little bit about Meta Business Suite, because that's really, really important that we understand the Meta family and why that is important. So with the Meta family, now, if you're not aware, Facebook rebranded its company name in September 2021. So it's been a while now that they changed their parent company name. And so we don't really call it Facebook anymore. We tend to use the term Meta quite a lot. And you can see why from the suite of brands that they have inside, that why they changed from Facebook to Meta, because Facebook is just one of the 5 brands that they own. So they're a much bigger company than that. Obviously, Facebook is their heartland. It is the world's largest social media platform, 2.7 billion monthly active users. It's a lot. Instagram is an amazing platform with over 1 billion monthly active users. Instagram was purchased by Facebook actually in about 2012, so they've owned it for quite a long time. Messenger is considered to be a separate platform for Meta, because when you're on your phone, and I know that it often seems like when we're on our phone and we jump on Facebook and we jump across to Messenger, it seems like we're in Facebook, but it's actually considered a different app, and therefore a different brand and a different platform from Facebook. So that's the other platform that they have. They also own WhatsApp, and WhatsApp as a platform is a phone, like a VoIP messaging phone service and a messaging service. It's really great if you have family or clients overseas, because you can make free international calls. And it's really good if you want to have group messaging chats. So if you like to message people in a group, say some clients and things. And you will have noticed that Meta has been quite persuasive in trying to get you to connect your Facebook page to WhatsApp so people can message you through that. Now, the other brand that you may or may not be aware of that Facebook or Meta owns is Oculus, and they are rebranding this quite heavily. So Oculus is the VR headsets, the hardware and the software that drives that. And they purchased this many years ago now. I've got a family of gamers, so we've got a couple of VR headsets in our house. They're really fun. And when Mark Zuckerberg announced that it was rebranding Facebook as a parent company to Meta, one of the things that they announced at the time is that they're creating what's called a metaverse. And the idea of this metaverse is that it will be a VR experience. So like right now, I'm talking to you through Zoom, and it's quite a limited interactive experience. When the metaverse ever gets launched, what it will actually be is I'll have an avatar of myself, and it's like a little like a digital representation of what I think I look like, and it will be in a virtual classroom, and you'll all be sitting there as virtual students, and you'll have the headsets and you'll have the little hand things, and you'll be able to put your hand up to ask questions, and we can have this really interactive experience. Now that metaverse, they have spent billions and billions on that and have nothing to show for it yet. It's a massive undertaking, and it's probably still a couple of years away, but know that it's coming, and know that that's part of their plan, is that they want to be as immersive and interactive as they can. I was reading an article the other day, and it said on average on the planet, we spend 30 minutes a day in Meta products. That's amazing. It's a lot of our time committed to this brand. So yeah, a lot of people don't realize how big Meta is, and don't really understand therefore why Meta Business Suite exists and what does that mean. So I'm hoping that gives you a clearer understanding. Now you can see all of their brands. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump over to my Facebook account, because I want to show you how to access Meta Business Suite first. So I'll just stop my share, and I will share my screen, and I'll just open another tab. I'll just open Facebook. All right, just lost my chat, 2 seconds. There we go. All right, so this is my normal Facebook. You can see on the top right-hand side, I am logged in as myself personally, so Sarah Thomson in my personal account. And then on the, sorry, let me just give that away. And then on the left-hand side, you can see that there is a little menu here that says Meta Business Suite. So if I click on that, it'll open that inside that same tab. So really easy to get to Meta Business Suite that way. The other way that I can get to it, so I'll just backtrack, is if I go to my Facebook page, and then I change in the top right-hand side, so I am acting as Online Social Butterfly, not Sarah Thomson, I can then go to Meta Business Suite through here. So see on the left-hand side, it says Meta Business Suites here. So there are a couple of ways in which you can get to it. And if I click on that, I can go to the lead center. And the reason that that's there for me is because I use lead forms in my ads. So you can get to Meta Business Suite in lots of different ways. Those are the two that are quite simple. The other way you can get to Meta Business Suite is to go to Google and just type Meta Business Suite. I'll just click open another tab. I have it, see, I've got it here as a shortcut on my Chrome browser, see just there. And then it's really easy for me to access. I don't even have to go through Facebook. I go straight to click on MBS and I'm there. Nice and simple. All right. Okay, so let me just move your little chat out the way. All right, so this here is the homepage of my Meta Business Suite account, and you can see that I have got one as Sarah, one as my Facebook page and one as my Instagram account. And I have both of those linked, so I can manage them both within this tool. Now, Meta Business Suite has the website, which we're looking at now, and it also has an app for your phone as well. So I do recommend you put that on, because it can be really, really useful in terms of being able to access it when you're out and about or on the go. Or if you just prefer to use your phone, then that might be really helpful for you as well. So there are my two accounts that I've got linked. I'm going to go through all of these menus on the left-hand side throughout the webinar today, but we're going to start on this homepage here so you can see what's going on. So let's start with our to-do list. And I quite like this because it will show you, so I'll just click see all. It will show me what I need to kind of consider and think about. So at the moment, just dismiss that. It tells me what have I got. Oh, it's jumped around. Sorry. I'll just jump back. It tells me what I've got to do. Sorry, I thought it was going to expand it. So it tells me these are my draft posts that I've got saved. These are some comments that I might need to respond to here. These are my leads and these are my tasks. So you can actually set some tasks in here to complete and kind of keep things moving forward, which is always a great idea. So that's really, really handy. And see, when people make comments, it's always a great idea to respond to people's comments. It will also show you if you've got unread messages in here as well. I checked mine this morning, so I haven't got any outstanding there. Then we've got the terms here updated, a little bit about your recent posts, and your recent stories are all there now. So that just gives you a little overview. This is kind of like your kind of mothership looking down. On the right-hand side here, we can set our goals, and this is done in Insight. So I'll show you when we get to the Insight section how we set our goals. But I like to set goals all the time for my Facebook and Insta. So my goal was set and it finished, and I didn't achieve my goal. For Instagram, my goal was to get 130 followers, and that time I got 184. So not too bad. I love setting goals. Nothing bad happens if you don't achieve them, but it's always good to try and keep things moving forward in your business. It also gives us a little overview here of our insights and some trends, but we're going to look at those in some more detail. And then this here's what's new in Meta Business Suite. But as you can see, they don't update it very often. So the last article was published over 6 months ago. So it doesn't change that often in terms of what's going on. So lots there that you can think about. We'll jump over to our notifications now. And this just pops up as a little menu here, and you can comment on things as you're going. So there's lots of comments and things. Do I need to go back and comment on that? And that kind of just makes sure that I keep up to date. It's not dissimilar to your section here on your summary. The next thing we want to look at is our inbox. And this is a really handy tool, if you haven't used it before, to really explore, because it allows you to access both your Facebook business page messages and also with your Instagram direct messages. So it's like a unified inbox, which is really, really good. So I would recommend you use this. If you're like me and you like typing on a keyboard rather than on your phone, it's a really handy tool for you to access. So this will show me, you can see here, it shows me all of my messages. And then if I want to go to Messenger, it shows me the ones specifically to my Facebook page. And then it shows me ones specifically to my Instagram. And you can see I don't have any outstanding at the moment. I've got one in there somewhere. I wonder where that is. One slipped through to the keeper. So that's all good. Now with your messages, remember you want to keep on top of these as quickly as possible and respond to people in a timely manner. So important to look at these quite regularly. Now, when you have conversations with people, you can actually make some notes about people. So this lady, Kelly, I'm not sure who she is, but I could tag her with a label that says she's a new customer, or I could put today's date on it so that she has some tags. So I can use it almost like an email inbox where we sort our content and we can therefore find information more easily. Now, across the top here, there's a few little tools on the inbox that I want to show you that I would really encourage you to set up, because we want to make your life as easy as possible. And one of the things we want to do is make sure you have automated responses in place. So you can see that it says that I'm currently available, which means that if someone messages me, they don't get an out of office. I can have a look at my messaging insights. I can create a messenger ad in here. I wouldn't recommend you do that here, but we're going to go and look at automations. So with automations, there are lots of choices. Now you can see that it suggests a load for you depending on your business type. So if someone leaves you negative feedback, you can have an automated response going to people saying, thanks for leaving your feedback. If someone, if someone leaves you positive feedback, you can have an automated response. All of these can be set up, and I would recommend you have a little look to see what might be appropriate for your business. Now, for me, like I'm not taking job applications, so if I had that set up, that might be handy to have. Down here are some of the frequently used automations that we're going to use on our Messenger and Instagram DM inboxes. And here's what we can choose from. We can have an instant reply. So as soon as someone messages, they get a reply. You can have frequent asked questions, away, if your page is recommended or not, contact information. Now, appointment reminders work really, really well if you are a business that takes appointments and you have specific time set up. So if you're something like a hairdresser or a beauty therapist, something like that, where you want people to be able to make their own bookings, I would recommend you had a look at appointments and appointment reminders, because that's a handy tool that Facebook has and it works incredibly well. So we're going to start, I'm not going to look at instant reply because it's pretty straightforward. We're going to look at the frequently asked questions. Now I have this turned on, as you can see, and you can choose, do you want it to be connected to Messenger or Instagram or both? So I have it connected to both. Now with the frequently asked questions, what it really allows people to do is if they send you a message, and I really like this because I don't want to be available. Well, I'm not available all the time during business hours to answer people's questions, but I get asked the same questions really regularly. So if you know that people ask you similar questions all the time, what you want to do is give them a response to those questions so they don't have to wait for you. So my first question is, I get people asking me about how do they book me for that ASBAS program, which is what today's workshop is through. So it says here, ASBAS Digital Solutions need help booking me. And then I have an automated response on how they can do it. And I also have a link that they can use as well. So this is a great idea because it saves me time having to send the same message to people all the time. I also get asked people about what workshops are coming up, and also how can they find out about coaching with me. So all of those are my most frequently asked questions, and I've got them all set up so that if people want to ask me a question, it's really easy for them to put that in the chat, and then the chat will respond with the answer that you create. Now, I would absolutely recommend you have frequently asked questions set up to save you time. And also from your audience's perspective, what it allows them to do is get an instant answer. So I quite often sit at night thinking about things that I need to do in my life. And I'm like, oh, just send a quick message like to a plumber or something. And when you get that reply back instantly, it's so helpful, because sometimes you're just like, can you tell me how I book you or something? And they'll send you a reply back saying you can book on our website, blah, blah, blah. So these tools will always make the life easier for your customers as well as for yourself. So think about that and think about setting those up. So I love FAQs, and we'll just jump back to automations. Now, with your away messages, I'm just going to go and edit that. You can set this to what your office hours are. And so if people message you outside of hours, they get a message saying that you're closed. Now, this isn't about being difficult for people. It's about setting expectations. And what we do when we set expectations is people feel like, oh, and I do this myself. Like I said, I often sit at night and send messages, and you're like, I don't expect someone to answer me at 9 o'clock at night when I'm catching up on my life admin. Okay. But it's nice to know that they got the message. So I know that lots of people send messages outside of business hours and actually expect a reply. And I personally don't want to run my business being available and accessible to people around the clock. It's not good for my own health, and it's not good for my boundaries and all those kind of things. So, but what I want to do is make it clear to people, if they message me outside of those times, I'm just not going to reply. And it's not because I'm an ass, it's because I'm not available. So I have my office hours set from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So if you message me during those business hours, I'll try and reply as quickly as I can. But if you message me outside of those, it says that we're closed, and it says that we'll reply to you the next business day. And this, you can see I'm closed all day Saturday, all day Sunday. Now, in truth, I am just like you, a small business owner. And so quite often I will reply to messages out of hours or on the weekends. But what this away message does is it sets the expectation to people that I'm not available to do this for you all the time. Okay. So you want to make it really, really clear that this is not something that you want to have happening. I don't want to be in a conversation with you at 9 o'clock at night. So when you set this expectation, it really, really helps your customers feel like, oh, okay, I get it. They're not here now. So I've got this set up. You can set these hours to suit yourself. So if you don't work, whatever your working hours are, put those in. And it's okay to not be available. Just so you know, it's okay to have boundaries in your business. It's okay to decide, like, if I'm honest, I quite often finish work at 3:30 when my kids get home from school. But I'm generally around. But it's okay to set the hours that suit you for messages. Okay, so just think about that. We're going to jump back to automations. And again, you can have your contact information, your location, all able to be shared. So if people message you and say, where are you located? As a question, they'll get a response back. So I would suggest that you spend a little bit of time going through the automations for your inbox, because there are so many features in here that are going to save you time and energy. And that's exactly what we want for your business. We don't want you working around the clock. We don't want you feeling like you have to be available all the time if someone messages you. So spend a little bit of time going through this, setting up some of your automated responses, and simply making life easier for yourself. All right, so that's your inbox, big section. We're now going to look at our content. Now, our content is really about, just let it load, it's taking a little moment. As you can see, it tells you what posts you've had go up, how people are responding to it, and what's going on. Now, this is really good to look at if you're trying to determine what content are you creating that's working and getting traction. How could you improve what it is that you're doing, all that kind of thing. So this is a nice summary. It also lets me see my stories. It doesn't have reels on here just yet, which is kind of annoying. But anyway, I'll let it load the stories. It's a bit slow. Oh, it's really slow. Sorry. All right, here we go. So it loads up some of the things that you've got going, and it tells you how they're performing, things like that. So really handy to have, again, a little overview, because when we're creating content, it takes time, and we want to know if it's landed with our audience and if we should create more like that, or if we should, consider something else. Now, the next menu down is the commerce menu. And this is really where, if you haven't seen it before on Instagram and Facebook, you can actually have shopping on there. So Instagram shopping or Instagram or Meta commerce is only available to you if you have a physical product. It is not available if you're like me, where you have a service-based business where you have digital products. So I sell things like online courses, classes, masterminds, those kind of things. None of those are allowed to be sold through the commerce platform on Meta. And you can see by my screen that it says your shop can't be published. You don't comply with our policy. And that's why, because my products that I sell are not physical products, they're not tangible products. But I will say this to you. If you have a physical product and you sell them particularly via a website, it is imperative that you have the commerce section set up on Meta. Now, this is quite straightforward, but if you do need some help with it, then I can definitely help you. But here's the good news, and this section has got significantly better over the years. So you can now integrate this so it talks directly to your website, whether it's Shopify, Wix, WooCommerce, WordPress, whatever your content management system is that you're using, it will integrate with the Meta platform and it will talk to it. So if you set up a product and say I'm selling like iPhone cases, and on my website, it's got the price and it's got the quantity, Meta will pull that data through to your commerce shop on Facebook and Instagram. So then if I see you tag a product on Instagram, I can then see the Facebook, like the iPhone's got 5 in stock and it's $9.90. Okay. So all of that data, it means that you're not maintaining 2 shops. You just have to maintain your website. And once you've connected it to Meta Business Suite, it pulls the data and talks back and forward. Now, the research is pretty definitive on this. If you have a commerce shop set up for Facebook and Insta through Meta, it will help you sell more products. It's that simple. You don't want to complicate it. And I know myself, I love shopping on Instagram, and I know that there is so much opportunity there. So if this is not something you've done in your business, please, please consider this. As I said, the initial setup can be slightly tricky, but once you are set up, it's quite easy to maintain because it's talking directly to your website. And that's a really handy feature. So if this is your business, please do look into getting your commerce set up. I think you'll find it really, really handy. All right, so I'm going to go to the planner now. And this is like one of my favorite sections to use. And I use it for a couple of different things. So I do use third-party scheduling tools, just to be really, really clear. But if you are just scheduling to Facebook and Instagram, this is a great place for you to do it. So the planner will show you, like, these are all my posts that have gone past. Because I use a third-party scheduling tool, it looks like I've got nothing coming up tomorrow. But I'll just move the little chats out of the way. So with our planner, there's a few things we can do in here. So up on the top right-hand side, I can create a new piece of content. So I can create a post, a normal post, a story, or a reel. Now, with your reels at this stage, you can only schedule those to go out on Facebook. I don't know why they've done it, because reels have been on Instagram significantly longer than they've been on Facebook. But for some reason at the moment, you can only schedule reels to Facebook, not Instagram. But if you do create reels regularly, you can save them as drafts in your Instagram account. I'm going to show you how to create a post and show you some of the features that I think are really, really handy for you. So when you're creating a post, you can choose to, on the right-hand side, have it go out to Facebook and Instagram. And you can also have it go out automatically to up to 3 Facebook groups, which is really handy to get your content out in front of more people. And I like that feature. I think it's really, really good. So I'm going to create a post today and show you how we work that. So I've currently chosen Facebook and Insta, and I'm going to add a photo and I'm going to upload it. Let's have a little look. I've got my desktop. Feel like 2 secs, sorry. I'm a bit confused as to why I can't. All right. Let me just have a little look. There we go. Okay, so here's a little post on some content ideas. These go up every Sunday on my page. So you can see that there's the post there, and I can write a little thing just saying, here are some content ideas or some post ideas for the week ahead. head. There we go. And just some little dots. Now, that post then will go out to Facebook and Insta automatically. But here's what we can actually do. So see how it says here, I can customize it for each platform. I would recommend that you turn that on because there are a few significant changes when you're posting on Facebook and Insta that you should be mindful of. So if you are posting a link to somewhere, I'll just grab a quick link off my website. All right, we'll just grab that one there. And let's just say I wanted to promote like a new course, like join now. And then I would put like, I can type join now, and then I'll just put a link. And that's fine to do that on Facebook. It's absolutely fine to put a clickable link in that people can follow to your website or wherever. On Instagram, because links aren't clickable in posts, what I would want to do there is I would want to copy this. And on Instagram, I would say join now, and then I would say follow the link in my bio for more deeds, that kind of thing. Okay, so you can see how one will have the proper clickable link and one will just have follow the link in my bio. So we want to keep that nice and simple, because if we put links in our Instagram posts, it looks like we don't know how to use the platform, and nobody wants that. We want to make sure it looks like we know what it is that we're doing. Now, the other key difference between Facebook and Instagram posts is the number of hashtags that you use. So on Facebook, the research is pretty clear. It's 4 to 5 hashtags only. Okay. And on Instagram, we want to be using maximum of 30 hashtags for every post. Okay. Now, that sounds like a lot, and I can imagine that you're sitting there going, whoa, how am I going to do that? That's a lot of research. But the wonderful thing about Meta Business Suite is that it allows us to do hashtag research really quickly and really simply. And I have to say, it's probably one of my favorite features of MBS is the hashtag research, because when I was doing it on my phone on Insta, I used to get really irritated. I have to kind of write the hashtag down, copy it into my notes. This is super simple. So you can see on the little box here at the bottom right, there's a little hashtag, and I then click on add hashtags, and I can do a little search. So I put the link for my Blooming Biz Academy. So I might use the hashtag Blooming Biz Academy. And let's see. So that's been used there on my post, and I've saved it. So I could add that. I could just have digital marketing. I can spell. And there are all the different posts that have used digital marketing. So again, you can see how I can save them by clicking on this little one on the right here. And you can see that if I were to click on all of these, how quick and simple it is to get to. So I've just done 13 hashtags in about 5 seconds. So it's really quick and simple to do hashtag research. But here's what we want with hashtags. In terms of usage, they need to have more than 5,000. Otherwise, nobody's using them. And less than 500,000. All right, because if it's got 6 million, you're going to get lost in the kind of busyness of that hashtag. So that's your guideline, more than 5,000, less than 500,000. Okay, keep that in mind. That's what we want. So I love doing my hashtag research in there. And I know that it's something that's made life really easy for me. So I can go under my recent ones that I've used, and you can see them all there. And I can also go to what I've got saved, and then I can scroll through and I can just click on the ones that I would like. And that's the search feature. Now, this is something I would really encourage you to use. It is absolutely brilliant, and I want it to make your life easier. Okay, so if you haven't seen this feature before, please dive in and give it a try, because if you want to be reaching more people, you need to be using 30 hashtags on Insta and 4 to 5 on Facebook, and it's really going to help your content get that visibility that you're looking for. Okay, so now that we've created our post, there are a few options what we can do. So we can just publish it straight away. So see my scheduling options. I can save it as a draft, or I can schedule it to go out later. So if I schedule it to go out later, it then pops a little calendar and it says, when do I want to schedule them on Facebook and Insta, and what time of the day would I like to post it? It then says these are the active times. So you can see on Facebook, the best active time for my audience is 6 p.m. On Insta, it's all over the place. So you can then schedule to what Instagram or Facebook has told you is the optimal time for you to publish for your audience, which I think is really helpful. So I would often choose those as my time that I want to schedule my content for. Now, we're not going to schedule that because I haven't really finished it, and I'll cancel that and come out. So we're going to discard the changes for that. Now, I do want to show you just quickly so you understand how it works. I'm going to create a story because creating stories is a great idea to have them kind of scheduled and in the can. And I will just use that same image because that worked pretty well. Yeah, because it's slightly longer. Hopefully the dimensions are okay. So if you're creating images for stories, I would recommend that you created them in Canva using the correct dimensions, which is that portrait thing. You can see mine's a little bit short, so it's cut the bottom off. That's okay. So here's what I can do. I can choose an image. Now, the features that are available are nothing like the features that are available natively in Facebook or Instagram. So do be aware that there are some limitations around that. So you can crop your image, you can add some text to overlay if you like to do that. So you can add just text like saying post ideas, and you can just move that wherever you want to put it. And I can just do that. Again, it's not as sexy or pretty as anything that you would normally see inside. Just change the color to black. Inside Instagram, it's a lot simpler. You can add a few stickers. You can't add GIFs and lots of things like that. Just put a little crown over there so I can add a little sticker. You can't add links, even though in Instagram you can add links to a story. You can only get a swipe up link if you've got more than 10,000 fans. So do keep that in mind. So there are limitations to stories in scheduling them in MBS, but if you're very busy and you want to go on holidays and you want some stories going out regularly, this is your new best friend. Again, I've got the same thing. I can schedule it in advance or I can share it immediately. Really, really handy. So really good tool if you haven't used it before and you're not getting enough of your story. So I'll cancel that. Next thing I want to do is, sorry, let me just click off. That was too trigger happy. Let's just cancel that. And we're going to go create, and we're going to create a reel. Now you can see that it doesn't give me the choice to share to Insta or Facebook because at the moment, my only option is to share to Facebook. As I mentioned, I don't know why they prioritize that over Instagram. I'm not really sure. So I can add a piece of video content. Just trying to see what video content I've got. Oh, there you go. It's actually one of my clients, Linda. That's fine. So that's a little video content there. I can then add a caption. I can change the frame, as in which frame do I want to appear? And I can save that as a thumbnail. And I can add a collaborator as another account. So there are not millions of features that you can use in this compared to, again, when you're creating reels natively in the Instagram app. But again, if you're kind of getting new to this, it is a simpler way of getting started if you want to feel less overwhelmed. It does move you on to editing, so you can add some audio. You can crop it, all sorts of things. So there are some features that you can try out. If you haven't tried Reels before, this is a really good way to get started because it's less daunting than perhaps being in Instagram where you might not feel so comfortable. So as I said, at the moment, Reels can only be shared to your Facebook business page. You can't share them to your Instagram account, but I would like to think that that must be coming with MBS. So do kind of watch this space. But again, keep it simple. Don't overthink things. Now with ads, if you have met me before, you know that I'm an ads fanatic. But I don't recommend that you set up your ads through Meta Business Suite because it doesn't give you all of the tools that you would necessarily want. So there's a few choices that you have here. You can have a little look at your ads and how they're performing. So these are my ads that have been in place for the last 2 months, so that you can change the date frame. I would use this area as almost like my insights, like how my ads performing, what's going on. Like I've got a traffic ad at the moment. I've got a sales ad. I've got a few things going on and how are they performing. So keeping that really simple is a great idea. I would never create my ad here. See on the top right, it says create your ad. I don't think that's a good idea because these features are oversimplified compared to Ads Manager. Now, Ads Manager does allow you to create all different types of ads. It used to be called Facebook Ads Manager. It's now just called Ads Manager. The word on the street is going to be called Meta Ads Manager because you can set up and create in Ads Manager ads that will go on all of the platforms. So Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, Audience Network, which is all of the placement options Meta offers. So it's not just a Facebook ads, it definitely is Insta ads. If you haven't used that before, check it out. And I do run workshops on Facebook ads or Meta ads. If you ever need any help, check out Business Station's website. I pretty much run one a month. I love Facebook ads and we'll talk about them till the cows come home. Just my thing. All right, let's look at insights and see what we've got going on here. So insights, again, great features in terms of looking at how it performs. So whenever you come to the insights page, this one always pops up first. And it simply gives you a snapshot of the last 7 days. So this is from the 31st of December to the 6th of Jan. This is what's happened. This is how much content I posted. These are my goals. These are my results in terms of my reach. And then I can click off on the top right, or I can go to view or insights. It doesn't really matter. And again, it starts with an overview. And you can see that I'm looking at both my accounts at the same time, as well as my Ads Manager account, which I'm not even sure if that's the right one, but we won't worry about that. And remember at the top, I can change the date frame. So now it's moved to 4 weeks. And I did mention on the home tab right at the beginning of today's webinar that I can set some goals. So I'm going to set some new goals so you can see what this process is, because I think it's kind of funky. So I can choose my goal to go on both platforms, which I've done, and I can only choose 2 goals. I can increase my reach or increase my followers. So I actually normally do followers, and they actually give you recommended goals based on how your page or profile is performing. So on Facebook, it thinks that if I was a starter, 28 would be easy. If I was intermediate, 31, and if I'm advanced, 35. So I might go for 35, and I think that's cool. And then with Instagram, I'm going to just set that. And then with Instagram, I want to set my goal to be, so I can get 197, 217, or 246. So let's go hard and go 246. So now I've set my goals. You can see this is now reset with 0 in it. So I've got to hit those numbers in the next 28 days. And I just think it gives you something to work towards. And I like that as a concept, and I definitely encourage you to consider that. Now this, oh, sorry, just made my question too big. All right, so with this reach, these are my kind of bird's eye view figures that are on the homepage of my insights. It's my followers, it's my messaging, but I'm not going to go through that in too much detail because we're going to go through the menu here on the left-hand side. So we'll start with our results. And this is how has my page performed. So you can see that again, it's the last 4 weeks, and you can customize this time frame if you want to. So over the last 4 weeks, this is my reach on my Facebook page and my Instagram account. And you can see there was a kind of a busy period. I just had a launch, can you tell? So it was pretty busy on my social media during my launch, and the launch closed on the 7th of Jan, which is pretty much when things went downhill because I was posting all the time and doing lots of content to push it out there for my audience. Okay, now the other thing we want to consider is our page and profile view. So you can see that's performing nicely. My new followers, and then my ad trends. So these are my ads obviously running during my launch, helpful. Now your audience is something that I would really encourage you to look at, because you need to know who is following you on Facebook and Instagram, and is it indicative or reflective of who you think your ideal customer is? Now, if you're not sure, I would use this data in conjunction with Google Analytics, because Google Analytics is incredibly helpful to allow you to see who's visiting your website. Because most people, when they're using a browser, like I'm in Chrome at the moment, I'm logged into Chrome. So it knows that I'm Sarah Thomson, it knows where I live, it knows my age, all that kind of thing. So it's really helpful to kind of consider, are you reflecting who is following you on social media with who is your ideal customer, or who you think is your ideal customer. So do keep that in mind. That's something you definitely want to be doing. All right. Okay. Now I like this information here because it gives me a really clear breakdown on my audience. So I would say that my ideal customer are females aged 35 to 55. I know that. And it's really good for you to be clear on who your ideal customer is. And if my data said that everyone following me was men aged 18 to 24, I probably need to think about who my audience is a little bit more, okay? Because that's just not right. It's not correct. Also, if you are location-based, and say, for example, I live in Perth and I could only work with people based in Perth, I don't want all these followers from other places, okay? So you'll find, particularly on Instagram, you will definitely attract global followers. So you can see I've got way more. So on Facebook, most of my followers are Australian, but on Instagram, most of them are not. It's the exact opposite trend. And you can see that I've got a lot of followers from overseas, which is great because it's a global platform, but still, I'm still attracting those women in my core demographic here, which is exactly what I want to be doing. I love this data and I love making sure I'm attracting the right kind of people. Now, feedback is really if someone gave you negative feedback on your page, and this will be reflected in here. So you can see that if someone reports your page. The other thing you can do is look at benchmarking. Now, this is, I'll just get rid of that. This is quite a good tool because it says, how is your page performing against other people? So you can see in the top right, we're just looking at Instagram, and it says that I've got 8,500 fans. And it says that I'm higher than other people and my new followers is higher and my engagement is higher. So all of that says that my business is sitting here in terms of the content that I publish. So really, really good as a comparison. I can then go up and change this to Facebook and see how my Facebook page is performing. So I'm right in the top percentile for that. But I've got less followers, less new fans, and less content, or more content interactions. So I could probably do with doing a bit more work on my Facebook page. I probably do spend too much time on Insta. And it also has here some businesses to watch. Now, if you haven't used this feature before, I would definitely recommend you have a look at it because you can follow other people. They don't get notified if you're following them, just so you know. So I can follow people that I think are quite cool. So I'm following like HubSpot, Amy Porterfield. I can see what their fans are, how much they're going up each month, and how much content they're publishing. So always good to have a little look. You can do the same on Instagram. And you can see who you're following there and how it's all performing. So always a good idea to do this because you want to know how are you going against other businesses. You can choose to add another business. So who could I add? I think Business Station. I think I might actually have their wrong account there. So let's add them. I think that might be them there. So I'm going to add them to my list. And then see they're now there and I can see what they're doing as well. So great idea to be following other people's accounts. Look, it's not, they don't get notified that you're following them for a start, and you can just benchmark your business against other businesses, and that is never a bad thing. The other thing we can do is look at our content. So again, we can have a review of how our content is going, like what have we published, what's performing. So you can see that posts that perform really, really well are ones that have links in them, videos and images. Reels have done really well. So this gives you an overview of what it is that you're doing and what could you be doing more of and doing better. So one of my best performing posts is this one here. This is my one with its highest reach. So why have those performed so well? Oh, someone's just said, do you add your competitors to the benchmarking? I would add competitors that you want to follow or people that you're interested, that you think, oh, they're doing a really good job. I'd like to see how they're performing and how do I stack up against them. I like people like HubSpot and Amy Porterfield are not technically my competitors, but they still exist in the digital marketing space. And so they're like I'm an ant and they're a lion. So they're not exactly my competitors, but it gives me something to shoot for in terms of what are they doing, because they're probably best practice compared to me. The other thing we want to look at is our content and how is that going, so we can organize it in terms of our reach, our reactions, all that kind of thing. So at the moment, this is giving me ads, posts, and stories, but I can filter it down to just certain types of content. Really, really handy. So if I just wanted to look at my posts and just on Facebook and see what was performing the best, I've now got that filter. And what I might like to do is look at posts that have had the most shares. So I can reorganize that for shares. And I've done it the wrong way around. Hold on. So this post here has had 30 shares. This one's had 28. So it's good to see, why did that post do so well? I think lots of people thought it was a great offer. Does Meta automatically add your competitors? No, you have to add them yourself, Deborah. That's what I showed you when it says add someone. You choose who to add. They don't know who your competitors are. They're not that intuitive. So you choose what accounts you want to follow in terms of those businesses that you're following. So this is a really good tool. I can see that this post was my best performing. It also had lots of comments and reactions. So if I wanted the top performer for my comments, it's actually a different post that had 58 comments. So again, really good to see which posts people are engaging with and why they are working. So keep it really clear on, has that performed well, and should I deliver more of that? With messaging, this gives you an overview of how quickly you've responded to people, that kind of thing. I'll just show me later. So you can see, here's my conversations. I'm usually pretty quick at responding to people, I have to be honest. Then this is all my video performance, again, benchmarking me against other people's video content, having a look at my audience on video. And this is interesting if they're not exactly the same as your existing audience. So you can see if they're existing or if they're new. You can see a lot of my video content has attracted new followers, which is exactly what we want it to do. But apparently I'm not performing very well. So I'm in the bottom 50%. Whoa. So good to look at all of these statistics, are really, really helpful. Now I'll jump over to all tools. Now there is lots in Meta Business Suite, as you can see here. A couple of other things that I would suggest that you look at that will be helpful for you would be page settings. And this allows you to see who is a manager on your page, what roles you have, how your accounts are connected. Really, really helpful. I would also suggest that if you're looking to set up appointments, this is where you set up appointments here. This is where you can set up your commerce. And just consider, have you looked through this to check you're doing the right thing, you've got your account set up, your pages are set up, your business apps, all of that kind of thing. So there is a little bit to go through here, but you don't necessarily need to be in all of those all of the time. This whole bit on ads, I don't use any of this except because I use lead forms. This is where I'll find my leads forms from advertising. So this here, you're using Ads Manager all the time, and keep that in mind. That's really, really important to do that. So there is lots to do in here. But the more you use Meta Business Suite, the easier it's going to be from your perspective to understand what is required from you. So let me just jump over to my screen share again. 2 seconds. All right. Whew. You're all very quiet. That was a lot of talking. Okay, so I'm going to wrap us up today and let you know. So today is really meant to be a whistle-stop tour of Meta Business Suite, and I've gone through what I consider to be the key features. As I said, I would encourage you to spend some more time in Meta Business Suite, seeing what is available, seeing how you can use it to make your life easier, to have a look at if you understand your audience, and to do some planning and to do a review of what it is that you're creating each month. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of today's webinar, this webinar is free of charge. It's not because I'm doing a big upsell, but because it's funded by the federal government through a program called ASBAS, or Australian Small Business Advisory Services. And through this program, you can access 7 hours of personalised mentorship for $44. That is broken up into 3 hours of one-to-one sessions with an expert advisor like myself, and then 4 hours of workshops and webinars. Now, the federal government created this program many years ago because it understood that as small business owners, you are challenged in trying to keep up with digital marketing. And so the emphasis is always on us helping you become more confident when it comes to digital marketing in your business. And they're across these 4 key areas: social media and digital marketing, websites and selling online, small business software, things like Canva, and then online security and data privacy. So those are the areas that we cover in the program. If you would like to work with me, which I would absolutely love, my areas of expertise are Facebook and Instagram marketing and advertising, content and Canva, and then obviously marketing and digital strategy as well. So if you are interested in the program, to find out if you are eligible, it's quite simple. You have to have an ABN that is registered in WA, Queensland, or the Northern Territory, because that's the region that Business Station covers. You have to be running a business that's a for-profit, so it can't be a not-for-profit. You have to have less than 20 full-time employees. And if you think that sounds like you, if you go to the Business Station website, on their homepage, they've got a link to the Digital Solutions Program. It's called that. and you can register through there. You can work with, so on the team, there's about 25 of us as expert advisors. You can choose any one of us. If you'd like to work with me, please put Sarah Thomson. If I'm not your girl, that's totally fine. But also if you're not sure who you would like to work with, you can put in there something like, I need someone to help me fix my WordPress website. And then you'll be allocated to the advisor that will be able to most help you meet your needs. So it's really, really great program. Just to let you know, it is going to be ending on the 31st of March. So the tender is currently closed and we're waiting to hear if Business Station won the new tender, which will be starting on the 1st of April. But I will say this to you, because it's going to be a new program, I would recommend that you access the program now and get your sessions sorted before the 31st of March, because my understanding is come 1 April, it'll reset and you'll be able to access it again. So I hope that you found today's webinar really, really helpful and useful for you in your business. I'm excited to hear how you get on in terms of using it as a tool. I love it and use it every single day in my business. I have it on my phone. It's very, very handy. And look, I would say to you, remember, you can't break MBS. Go and have a play, practice getting comfortable with it. And look, I'm wishing you every success for you in your business. Thank you so much for tuning in today. See you later.